Netflix just dropped the trailer for the new Avatar series, and so to commemorate this new chapter for Avatar, I thought why not explore the first live action attempt. So, sit back and enjoy the shitstorm that's about to hit. In the opening scene, we see Sokka and Katara, siblings of the Southern Water Tribe, stumble across a strange iceberg, and of course, Katara, doing the normal thing, decides to smash it open, sending a stream of light into the air, and like an icy Pokeball, releasing Aang, or Aang as he likes to be called, as well as his flying bison power, Appa. That stream of light I mentioned 2 seconds ago? Yeah, that ends up being noticed by Zuko, the banished prince of the Fire Nation. He then goes on a hunt to capture Aang, and this is where the film takes us on a journey of Aang being captured, and then escaping, captured, and then escaping again. Oh, and did I mention he was captured? It's a bit of a repeating pattern if you haven't realised yet. As for the rest of the story, well, the plot was so crammed, the rest was just a blur. As you may already know, the premise of The Last Airbender revolves around Aang, as he is the Avatar, the only person capable of mastering all 4 elements of earth, water, air and fire, and also restoring harmony amongst the 4 nations. I'm gonna say this now, Aang's actor actually pissed me off. Hey, I know he was only a kid back then, and I completely get it, but his acting was so bad. Every dialogue felt like it was being read off a prompt. My guy couldn't even pronounce his name properly.
My name is Aang, and I'm the Avatar.
And maybe you'll disagree, but I hated this stupid expression he would carry for every scene. Whether he was happy, sad, angry, it was always this dumb look he would give that literally made him look both 8 and 80 years old. The script was awful, don't get me wrong, but this guy certainly didn't make things easier. I know some people like his tattoos, but for me it just looked like a bunch of QR codes mangled up in the shape of an arrow. The final thing I want to say is that I don't get why we have moments in the movie where Aang can kick everyone's ass, but then in the next scene he gets captured like he's got no powers whatsoever. Then we have Katara. There were comments about how Katara was whitewashed in this movie, and I couldn't care less about that, since the entire Fire Nation became just Indian men with these goofy looking sideburns. Anyways, back to Katara. Again, this movie probably brought some hate for the child actors, because I swear, she was also shockingly bad. Similar to Aang, she carries this constant annoying expression which makes it so difficult to interpret what the character is supposed to be feeling. In her case, I do think the script did her the worst, because for some reason Katara is this dumb kid who does things like this. The Fire Nation warriors literally have spears and she pushes one of them like one of those fights between 6-year-olds. Then there's the constant, annoying and obvious dialogue.
Aang, can you hear me? I knew you were real.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock!
The final thing I want to mention is the movie literally skips over how she goes from barely being able to levitate a ball of water to all of a sudden being able to do shit like this. With Katara, of course, there's also Sokka. Honestly, the moment we see him, you can sense something is off. Oh wait, I'll tell you what it is. The guy is a 26-year-old bloke trying to act like he's 15.
She said she was 12!
No wonder it results in this weird and confusing portrayal. As one moment, he seems like this goofy character, and then the next, he's super serious. There's no consistency on who Sokka is supposed to be. And honestly, that's all I have to say about him. This guy legit adds nothing to the movie. Then we have Zuko, played by Dev Patel. You know, the kid from Slumdog Millionaire? Zuko is supposed to have this scar on the left side of his face. Something he got when his father burned him. In this movie though, the scar just looks bad. In some scenes you can't even tell Zuko has a scar. And here, this guy has somehow preserved both his eyebrows. In this film, it wasn't a matter of Dev Patel's acting, but just that his character was just kind of pushed around everywhere, for the sake of compressing 20 or so episodes in under 2 hours. The result is we're left confused whether to hate him or feel pity, if he's a hero or a villain. On to Admiral Zhao. He's portrayed as the main villain in the movie, trying to both capture the Avatar himself, whilst also trying to make sure Zuko is not in his way, and goes as far as to try and kill him. Whilst I have a lot of complaints about the acting and the script, there's a part of me that has to admit that if an actor who portrays a villain really does begin to irritate you, then perhaps they're doing the right things. And that's what we got with Zhao. His acting is very theatrical and reminds me of the typical bad guys you see in kids films, such as Spy Kids. Now onto Uncle Iroh. Honestly, he does a good job of his role. You see the care he has for Zuko, much like the animated show, and his acting abilities are of a greater range than the rest of the cast. I have nothing bad to say really about Iroh. In this film, his scenes are some of the very few highlights actually. So clearly I didn't like this movie, much like the majority of the world. But aside from the story and the characters, what else was wrong? Well, where do we begin? The CGI is so disappointing. The world of Avatar relies heavily on displaying the powers of the different elements. And so, if there was one area that was crucial for this movie to nail, it would be this. But instead, we got some of the worst green screen effects. I mean, this film had a $150 million budget, and yet the opening scene looks like Katara and Sokka have been superimposed into the animated world of Ice Age. Then there's the lack of physics in the CGI. How do you have a ball of water dripping out and yet maintaining size? And then let's talk about this infamous scene of these 5 numpties doing a dance-off only for one boulder to gently glide across the screen. The bad CGI paired with the goofiness of the actors just made for this cringe experience. I like to go back to this scene because it's like none of the actors know what's going on. The CGI is bad, the actors are unsure whether to feel happy or scared. It's these scenes that make it clear that the director had no care to respect the source material, and instead decided to do his own thing. Then there's the lack of common sense. Why is everyone in this world so stupid? Like, why is it the Earthbenders sit around and accept being bitches to the Fire Nation when they're literally surrounded by Earth?
Stupid!
Are you really going to tell me that a 10-year-old bold kid is all that they needed to get off their ass and do something? Then there's the big finale where Aang essentially creates a massive tsunami on the outside of the walls. And what do the Fire Nation do? Run towards the walls, of course. And speaking of a lack of logic, the Fire Nation are able to infiltrate the Northern Water Tribe using these drills, which makes no sense considering the ice is thick enough to literally hold a kingdom. Overall, I'm glad this wasn't my first introduction to Avatar, and having seen the trailer, I do have hope for the Netflix adaptation. Overall, I'm gonna score this movie a 1 out of 10. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, give a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.